Okay, this is the Flex-A-Lite 185. It's for the Fox body Mustangs. This fan has 3300 CFM. This is the box it comes in. Here's the fan. I chose the 185 over the other models they have because the shroud, as you can see, is a lot larger. It covers more of the radiator. You got your lower brackets down here that you keep loose. Nice little areas all the way around for different applications. You can see they've got it all pre-threaded. Nice stuff. They give you all the hardware you need. You got your control box, that's a thermostat control. It's got a knob on it. You decide when it turns on. It also has a wire that hooks to the air conditioning so that when you turn on your air conditioning it turns on. It also has a hookup for a toggle switch if you want to run it manual. It comes with all the connectors you need. It comes with a fuse link. Basically you can do this job complete on the exception of wire loom, which is, for some of you that don't know, is the covering, which I usually have around. This is the wire loom, put your wires into it and stuff, but it's a pretty good fan. We're getting ready to put this into a 93 Fox body Mustang and get rid of the old cracked fan. Mine's not cracked because it's new, but I decided to eliminate it. I'm over it. You can buy these new, replace them, and in 6 months they start cracking again. They just don't last. They're not made to last, and I guess Ford just wants you to keep buying them. But we're going to be putting it in the 93 Mustang. We'll see how that all works out, and I'm going to post videos as we go. I don't have a cameraman, so I'm going to try and do it little bits at a time and show you the process as we go. The first thing we did is we removed the brackets off the top that hold the radiator in place. That's not needed, but for my application it is because I want to clean up the front of the radiator and whatnot. What's really nice on this particular model is it also comes with bracketry on the side that allows you to hook up your factory overflow, which is a pretty nice option. A lot of the fans you buy today, you have to get an aftermarket overflow bottle, which for those of you that don't know, this is your overflow bottle. If you get electric fans or whatever, your dual electric fans or another model, you may have to be making a bracket or getting an aftermarket bottle. I opted just to be able to use my factory bottle, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, we got started on this. You're basically going to have 4 bolts down here for your fan shroud. You want to hook it from the pulley there, and that's going to get the fan a little loose here, so I just got it rested in place until I can show you the rest. We're going to undo our top brackets for the shroud. We're no longer going to be using this shroud, so we're going to undo these 2 top bolts and we're going to slide this unit out. Okay, we've unbolted the shroud, we've unbolted the overflow bottle, so we're going to pick this overflow bottle up. Just going to set it to the side, out of the way. So a second pair of hands come in handy. Undo the shroud and the fan. Bring it up gently. Careful not to scratch up the fins on your radiator. And now we've got pretty much an open base to start putting in the new fan. Now I have the stock radiator in here. Some of you guys got the bigger radiators. That'll be an upgrade later on. I probably should do it now, but because of budget, we're just going to throw this on here and see how it does with a single core radiator. I don't have anything special done to the car except for bolt-on goodies, so we should be okay. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and put in the new fan. Just a reminder, down on the bottom, once you've got your shroud and your fan and everything out of the way, you're going to have these clips that slide down in the little slots down there at the bottom. There's one on each side. You want to go ahead and pull those out. Be careful not to damage the radiator. Just gently get them out of the way because they're going to be in the way of your fan installation. Your new fan has brackets that mount up a little differently. These we leave loose, and they've got a hook on them, as you can see. They slide under the radiator and then they hook onto the bottom lip. So you want to go ahead and pull these clips out of the way. get the radiator all stripped down like that. This way when we put this in, these clips are not going to interfere. This fan does come with a great seal. If you look at the seal on this thing, I mean, it's the quality of even like on a trunk or a door seal. It's basically automotive seal, but it's nice and soft. It's going to create a great seal. It's not going to damage your radiator for vibration and hitting bumps and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, on your fan, before you put it in, they left it pretty open. They figured for the wires in the back, you got 2 motor wires back here. Now they wanted you to go ahead and drill a hole in the shroud, and I got the drill out and I thought about it, and I said to myself, I've got 2 open hole brackets over here that are not being used on this particular model on Mustangs. So I just ran the ground and the power, and what I did is, if you can see this, I tied a knot. It's strand wire, it's not going to hurt it. Tied a knot on it so that it doesn't pull back into the fan. And what I did is I routed the wire on each side of the motor. Now I will have 1/4-inch wire loom on this, so you won't see this. It'll look like it's supposed to be there, similar to like the brackets and stuff. But as you can see, you can apply pressure and it's not coming near the fan here. It's protected. So it's your choice on that. Yeah, you could run them together down the side, down the bottom, drill a hole in the shroud and have it come out wherever you want, but for my application this is going to work. So this is just an idea for you if you don't feel like drilling up your brand new fan. I guess they should have put an access port, but because of so many different applications and the way people do things, they left it up to us. So it's your choice on this part here. Here's a picture of the wire loom we went ahead and put on the outside here. If you remember, we had 2 wires here. You can see a little bit of the blue, but with that being put reversed, you're not going to see that. And then we'll wire loom the outside once we've made our connections. But this is not necessary. This is wires don't have to be pretty, but if you're going to do the job, hey, why not? Alright, we'll catch you on the next step. Alright, now we've got the control box mounted up. They give you the hardware. They say you can mount it on a fender, or you can mount it pretty much where you want to on the passenger side, because this probe that goes through the radiator is going to have to be close to the top tube of the radiator to get the proper temperature. Now a lot of people have been complaining about all this extra wire. You can't cut it, you can't shorten it, and they don't like seeing it. So even though I don't want to drill a hole in the radiator, what I'm going to do is uncoil this, drill a hole right here to fit this probe through, recoil it on the back side. This way all you'll see is 1 wire going into the shroud. So we'll see how that all works out, and I'll show you when we get that part done. Okay, the brackets that I did before with the bushings on it was a big fail, so this is what I ended up doing with the brackets right here. I ended up drilling a small hole, I don't know if you can see that, drilled a small hole here, and then drilled right in here into the bottom bracket, and then went ahead and bolted it down. I used the spacer to make the bracket long enough, so went ahead and bolted it here, and used a spacer at the top. I don't know if you can see that. There's a spacer in there. That's the spacer they provide. So if you try and hook it up the way they want to, hooking under the radiator didn't work for me because it pulls down on the shroud too far, and your bracket at the top ends up straining and leaning forward. So I hope this helps you out. But if you took on a job like this, I'm sure you know what's going on and you'll modify something to work. So good luck with that. Alright, now your fan is already installed. You got your overflow bottle hooked up by now. And now the instructions are showing you that the fan, the blue wire connects to a thick red wire and goes to the control module. We won't have to use the thick red wire. We're just going to use the factory blue wire because of the way I mounted the control box. The control box is sitting here. The blue wire I already put a spade connector on, and all I have to do is connect it to the control box, and I'll put some wire loom on that so it looks more factory. So this connection is just going to be made here. Won't need to use the thick red wire. By now you should have that blue wire already connected, and now it shows here from the fan showing a black wire, and that hooks to the module also. We won't have to add any additional black wire to it, though it's showing it, because of the way we routed it outside the fan. So again, we're going to hook to the module next to where we hooked up the positive. Okay, this is just a review. You got your fan. They wanted you to hook up the blue wire and the black wire. Again, we didn't have to add all this extra wire because our control module is so close to those wires. I'll show you over here. I'll try and do it with some lighting maybe. There's the control module, and you can see the two wires have been put in with wire looms. So you've already made your two main connections, and we're halfway home. Now we're going to go ahead and hook up our power wire, and basically what we've got here is the thick wire that they give you. They give you a fuse link that looks like this. Now I'll get my stuff together and show you how this is done. Alright, like I said before, you're going to get a wired fuse link, and they connected it together like this, and for some of us that don't know what they're doing, you'd say, well, how the hell do you use this? You got your fuse in there, but you can't hook it up. Well, what they don't tell you is they intend you to cut it here. Then basically you take your strippers, strip the ends back, go ahead and twist your ends, and then they give you what's known as a tube connector. You're going to put the tube connector on one end. You're going to get your crimps. Crimp it on there good. I can't stress enough, when you do this, check your connection. Then we're going to take the other end of the wire. This is just a big long wire that they give you with the kit. This is your main wire. And then the fuse link. We're going to connect that together. So we're going to have to strip the end of this. Bear with me, guys, because I know a lot of you are saying, yeah, I know, I've done that before, but for some of us that hasn't done it, put your wire into here. Push your wire in good before you crimp it. Again, check your connections. Now on that same wire, as you can see, we've got the fuse link, we've got the yellow connector, and the red wire. I put a piece of heat shrink on here and put it right in the middle and feel for it. A lot of you might not have seen heat shrink before. I know a lot of guys that don't use it. I like to put it on when you're dealing with moisture under the car. Water won't get in it. Now if you just take your standard Bic lighter and try and heat it evenly, you'll see it shrinks on there. Yeah, you can use electric tape, but I like a little more permanent. As you can see, it sucks around it pretty tight. We've got a good connection. We got our fuse link and our main long wire. That's what we're going to use to hook the power to this fan. Now we're going to show you that wire that we were doing. That wire we were doing, you probably can't see it here. I don't know how clear this camera is. It says thick red wire here. And there's where we put the fuse, and they want that on a direct source. Now, you can either go to the battery, or there's other locations by the starter solenoid that you can hook up to. I so happen to have a pigtail on mine, I like to call it. It hasn't been used. This is directly connected to the battery. It came this way and it's never been used. This is where I'm going to get my power source. So all I have to do is crimp that on. But on the other side, they want you to hook to this connection on the box. We've already hooked up the fan motor to these two. Now we're going to do this one here. So let's go ahead and put an end on that wire, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, the main power wire that we were discussing earlier that we put our little fuse on there, it's going to be connected there, but we don't connect it now because we're in the middle of working on it, and I haven't disconnected the battery, though they would rather you disconnect the battery as you go, but I still have to check some accessory power and whatnot. These wire looms laying on the top right here are just not run on this side. until I get everything I know it's running. But for the most part, this will be running through here and then down to the control box. And now what we're going to be connecting is the green wire. The green wire connects to the air conditioning compressor. If you have air conditioning on your hot rod, basically you're going to be looking for the green wire, and that has a three-way connector on it, so you don't have to cut it. You're basically going to use this little connector, and I'll show you that. If you've done stereos, you might be familiar with this. You open this up and you splice the wire onto your compressor wire. Now, you can either take it from up here on the compressor, but that's a lot of wire you got to run to try and get back. So I've chosen, seeing as it's passenger side, that connects to the low pressure switch. So I just need to determine which wire on here powers when the air conditioning comes on, and that's where I'll make my connection. Then I'll run it around to the control box, keeping it as short as I can. Alright, it's finally installed. The fan runs good. Right now it's not up to temperature, so it's not running. I tested it with the AC on, and that's what it looks like. For those of you that want more of a stock look, you can put an L bracket right here, bolt it right through here, and drill right into the self-tap into the top of the fan, and paint it black, and you can get rid of a lot of this. You either like this or you don't like this. I'm okay with it right now. I'll get the radiator cover for it. That's basically the full install. I didn't hide the wires on the thermostat yet. Right now it's just testing it out. So that's basically what the install. Believe it or not, it took me 6 hours because of the brackets. And as you can see, you can slam this in an hour if you want wires hanging everywhere. You know, the one that runs from the high pressure switch, one that goes to the firewall for the accessory, your power wires and stuff like that. But I've got everything wire limbed. I just have to tuck these. I'm going to remove the battery, tuck them behind. But that's about it. All my wire limbs for this run through here. And there it is. So that's the Black Magic Fan 185. They also sell this in a lot of the versions. The fan just kicked on. They sell it in other versions. I don't have that bracket. This is specifically for Mustang, the 185. There's my temperature. And that's where the fan kicked on. So I don't know where your needle rides, but that'll give you some reference. Alright guys, good luck with it. I'll let you know how it goes. It's real hot today, so I'll be testing it out and I'll let you know the outcome.